You walk into a car dealership with a stack of cash. Or at least, that's the image in your head. You've saved for months, maybe years. You know your number. You know the invoice price. You did your homework. And you think you're about to walk out of there having beaten the system. You didn't. In fact, the moment you announced you were paying cash, the dealership quietly rearranged the entire table in their favor. And you never saw it happen. Here's the thing most people miss. The car isn't the product. The loan is. And once you understand that, everything about the way dealerships operate starts to make a very uncomfortable kind of sense. My name is Dave, and I spend way too much time thinking about hidden profit systems and the money moves that actually work in your favor. If you're someone who wants to make smart financial decisions before walking into any high-stakes negotiation, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it saves you even $1 on your next car purchase. Let's start with two guys. Same neighborhood, same dealership, same car. Two very different outcomes. The first guy, let's call him Marcus, spent 3 weeks preparing. He pulled up the manufacturer's invoice on every car research site he could find. Consumer Reports, Edmunds, Kelley Blue Book. He walked in knowing that the sticker price on the car he wanted was $32,250. He knew the manufacturer's invoice, the price the manufacturer actually charges the dealership, was $29,900. He sat down, negotiated for over an hour, and got the price to $29,950. $50 above invoice. The salesman leaned back and told Marcus they were basically losing money on the deal. Marcus drove home feeling like he'd just beaten a system most people never figure out. He hadn't. His neighbor Kevin saw the car in the driveway the next weekend, loved it, asked where Marcus got it. Kevin headed to the same dealership, asked for the same model, and walked out paying $2,400 more. Same car, same month, same dealership. The difference wasn't the car. It wasn't even the negotiation skills. It was 5 words Kevin said the moment he walked through the door. "I'm paying cash, best price." And just like that, Kevin handed the dealership a massive advantage before anyone said a single word about the actual vehicle. We'll come back to Kevin, but first, you need to understand what Marcus didn't see, because the same invisible machine ran on both of them. Think about the last time you bought something expensive. Electronics, furniture, appliances. In most purchases, paying cash is power. You skip the financing, you skip the fees, you cut through the process. The seller gets clean money immediately, and sometimes they reward you for it. That's how most of the world works. A dealership is not most of the world. At a dealership, cash isn't power. Cash is the removal of their most profitable product. And that changes everything about how they respond to you. Here's where it gets really interesting. Marcus's consumer research gave him one number, the manufacturer's invoice. And that's actually more than most buyers ever have. Most people walk in with a number in their head based on nothing, and if the dealership hits somewhere close to that number, they feel like they won. But even Marcus's invoice number, which he researched across multiple credible sources, wasn't telling him the full story. The manufacturer's invoice is not the dealership's actual cost. The real cost is lower, sometimes significantly lower, because of a set of private financial arrangements between the car manufacturer and the dealership that no consumer database will ever show you. The first hidden payment is called the dealer holdback. After the sale closes, the manufacturer sends money back to the dealership, usually 2 to 3% of the list price. On Marcus's car with a $32,250 sticker, a 2% holdback means the manufacturer sent the dealership an extra $645 after Marcus drove away. At 3%, that's $967. So Marcus thought the dealership made $50 on him. The holdback alone put them at more than 12 times that. And we haven't even started. Then there's dealer cash incentives. If the manufacturer overproduced a model and needs to move inventory, they pay the dealership a bonus to push that specific car. You'll never know if the car you're sitting in has one of these attached to it. After that, volume bonuses. The more cars a dealership sells in a period, the larger the payout. Hit a certain tier, and every car sold earns an extra bonus. This is why dealerships get more flexible at the end of the month and the end of the quarter. They're not being generous. They're chasing a threshold that can be worth tens of thousands of dollars across their entire inventory. And the crazy part is, there are still more layers. Regional dealer rebates. Floor plan assistance, where the manufacturer actually subsidizes the interest cost on the loan the dealership takes out to stock the vehicles on their lot. Back-end incentive programs tied to customer satisfaction scores and brand protection metrics, none of these show up in any consumer research tool. None of them. So take everything Marcus thought he knew about the dealership's cost and subtract several thousand more dollars from it. But here's the thing. Even if you somehow calculated every single hidden incentive and factored it perfectly into your negotiation, That's still not where the real money is made. The real money is made in a room you haven't walked into yet. Before we walk into that room, let's anchor this in real numbers. Some car dealership groups are publicly traded corporations. Lithia Motors, AutoNation, Penske. They file detailed financial statements because they have public investors, and those statements are available to anyone willing to read them. What do those statements show? The average gross profit on a new car, that's the price you pay minus the manufacturer's invoice, is $30,263. On a used car, it's about $2,840. Now, gross profit sounds like the whole story, but it's not. The dealership still has to pay rent, salaries, lot maintenance, utilities. Subtract all of that, and the actual net profit per car is somewhere between $500 and $1,200. That's what makes Marcus feel like a genius. He paid $50 above invoice when the average buyer pays $30,263 above invoice. On the sales floor, Marcus is way ahead. But here's the kicker. The sales floor is not where the real money changes hands. Think about it this way. The dealership led Marcus down a hallway after the handshake. He walked into a smaller office to, quote, handle the paperwork. He thought the hard part was over. His guard was completely down. He was ready to sign. That office is the most profitable room in the entire dealership. And the person sitting behind that desk is not a clerk. They're not there to process forms. They are the highest earning salesperson in the building. From those same public financial statements, here's what the finance office generates per car. Somewhere between $2,000 and $2,800. On top of whatever the dealership made from the sales floor, let's break down exactly where that comes from. First, the loan reserve. When you finance through the dealership, the interest rate you see isn't just what the lender requires. The dealership marks it up. If the lender approves you at 4%, the dealership might charge you 5%. That extra 1% is called the loan reserve, and it's pure profit. Across their volume, that adds up to $600 to $800 per vehicle. Next, the extended warranty. The brochure looks comprehensive. What they don't highlight is everything that isn't covered. The profit margin on that extended warranty sits between $700 and $1,000. That's negotiable. You just have to know it's negotiable before you sit down. Then gap insurance. This one is actually worth understanding. If you finance a car and it gets totaled, your insurance pays what the car is currently worth, not what you owe. If your loan balance is higher than the car's value, you're responsible for that gap out of pocket. Gap insurance covers it. It's not a useless product, but the profit margin built into it is $250 to $400, also negotiable. After that, the protection add-ons. Wheel protection, paint sealant, fabric coating. Individually, they feel minor. Combined, they stack fast. Total finance and insurance profit from the finance manager's office, $1,900 to $2,100 per car. But we're not done. There's still the paperwork. And built into that paperwork is another $700 to $800 in profit. The documentation fee, what they charge you to type your information into their system and print it out, generates $400 to $650 on its own. Electronic filing and registration markup, $40 to $90. The temporary tag on your dashboard, $20 to $50. Digital contracting and notary, $10 to $30. None of these feel large. Add them together, finance office plus documentation. That's $2,700 to $2,900 per car. In a room Marcus walked into thinking the negotiation was already done. So let's run the full picture on Marcus. He negotiated to $50 above invoice. The salesman told him they were losing money, but the dealership collected $640 to $960 in holdback. Hundreds more in front-end incentives Marcus never saw, and then another $2,700 to $2,900 in the finance office. Total profit on a deal where the salesman said they were basically losing money, over $3,000. That's the machine. And it ran on Marcus exactly the way it was designed to. Alright, real talk. Have you ever been in that finance office and felt your guard come down the moment the handshake happened? Drop a yes or no in the comments. I want to know how many people felt the shift before they even realized what was happening. Now let's talk about Kevin. Kevin walked in and said 5 words that changed the entire dynamic. I'm paying cash, best price. He thought that was negotiating power. The dealership heard something very different. They heard, I am about to remove $2,000 to $2,800 of profit from your finance office. No loan reserve, no interest markup, no gap insurance, no extended warranty. The most profitable part of the transaction just disappeared. So the dealership did the only logical thing. It made up the difference on the price. Kevin got less negotiating flexibility. The dealership held firmer. Kevin paid $2,400 more for the exact same car. And here's what makes this feel almost absurd. Kevin thought cash was power. We're all taught that. Pay cash for a renovation, the contractor discounts it. Pay cash at a small business, they might knock something off. Cash eliminates friction in almost every transaction. But a dealership isn't a contractor. The loan isn't a cost to them, it's a profit center. When Kevin took that away, he didn't simplify the deal. He removed their most valuable revenue stream. Now you might be thinking, fine, I just won't tell them I'm paying cash. Keep them guessing. Good instinct. And here's where it gets really interesting. The dealership already thought of that. They have a series of tests built into the buying process specifically designed to find out whether you're a cash buyer. Most buyers don't even know they're being evaluated. Test 1 happens before you meet a salesperson. You walk in, the front desk hands you a clipboard. Name, address, model you're interested in, cash or finance, trade-in. Feels like a formality. It's the first filter. Test 2 comes about 2/3 through the process. They tell you they need to run your credit to confirm you qualify. Sounds routine, it's not. They're confirming you still intend to finance. It's a commitment check disguised as a procedural step. Test 3. The salesperson starts your loan application before you even enter the finance office. By that point, you've confirmed financing intent 2 or 3 times without realizing it. And here's what nobody talks about. One viewer comment that came in and completely nails this point. When they ask for your driver's license for the test drive, some dealerships run your credit in the background during that window. They know your financial picture before you've said a word about price. That's not a rumor. That's the system working exactly as designed. Think about that. You're sitting in the car, adjusting the seat, checking the infotainment screen, and they're already pricing you. Now, I want to address something directly because the smart people in the comments always bring it up. And they're right to. If you finance the car, even for a short period, you're paying interest. And over a 5-year loan, that interest adds up. So doesn't the financing strategy end up costing more than just paying cash? Here's how to actually think about this. The strategy isn't to carry the loan for 5 years. The strategy is to finance to get the lower purchase price because the dealership gives financing buyers significantly more flexibility on sticker price and then pay the loan off before meaningful interest accumulates. The math on a $29,950 car at 5% interest paid off in 30 days is roughly $125 in interest. The negotiating flexibility gained by being classified as a financing buyer can be 2, 3, 4 times that amount. The numbers work. But you have to execute the strategy correctly, which we'll get to in a moment. There's one more thing most people never talk about. One more piece of the cash buyer trap that almost nobody factors in: your credit score. One viewer pointed this out with a comment that I thought was genuinely excellent advice. If you do pay off the loan quickly, wait approximately 45 days before doing it, not the next day. Here's why. When a lender issues a loan, it gets reported to the credit bureaus, and that record of a successfully opened and closed installment loan is actually valuable for your credit profile. Pay it off the next day, and the loan may never appear on your credit report at all. Wait 45 days, let it report, let it show as a positive trade line, and then close it. You pay maybe 1 or 2 months of interest, roughly $125 to $250 on a typical vehicle loan, and in exchange you get the lower purchase price and a positive mark on your credit file. That's not a cost, that's 2 benefits for the price of 1. And I get it. Some people look at this and say, I'm not doing all of this for a depreciating asset. I'd rather just buy used, pay cash, keep it simple. That's a legitimate strategy. Buying a 2 or 3-year-old vehicle with low miles from a private seller avoids almost every layer we just talked about. No finance office, no dealer holdback, no documentation fee, no test for cash intent. That's a real option. But if you are going to walk into a dealership, new or used, this is the map. Here's the play, step by step. Step 1. Walk in as a financing buyer. Don't mention cash at any point. This keeps you classified as a high-profit customer, which gives you maximum flexibility on price. The dealership expects to recover margin in the finance office. Use that expectation as leverage before you ever sit down in it. Step 2. At the clipboard stage, ask one specific question. What is the loan origination fee? This signals you're comparing their loan terms against your bank or credit union. What you're actually confirming is that there's no upfront fee you'd forfeit if you pay the loan off early. Step 3. Negotiate the purchase price as hard as you can. Be willing to walk. One of the most consistently effective tactics, and multiple viewers have confirmed this, is to be genuinely okay with leaving. The dealership doesn't want you to walk out, End of month, end of quarter pressure on their volume bonus makes them much more willing to move on price when they believe you'll leave. Step 4. In the finance office, negotiate the products. You now know the profit margins. The extended warranty is earning them $700 to $1,000. That's negotiable. Gap insurance is $250 to $400 profit. Negotiable. The protection add-ons are negotiable. You don't have to buy everything they put in front of you. And the things you do want, you don't have to pay sticker price on those either. Step 5. Before you sign anything, read the loan contract line by line. Confirm every fee is listed. Confirm there is no prepayment penalty. This is the critical checkpoint. If there's a prepayment penalty, run the math. In most cases, the purchase price savings still outweigh the penalty cost, but calculate it before you sign, not after. Step 6. Wait 45 days. Let the loan hit your credit report, then pay it off completely. You financed the car, technically. For about 6 weeks, you got the financing buyer price. You avoided the cash buyer penalty. You collected a positive installment trade line on your credit profile. And you paid somewhere between $125 and $250 in interest to accomplish all three. Now here's the thing most people still don't fully internalize. The sales floor feels like the battlefield. The back and forth, the tension, the let me talk to my manager routine. But it's not where the most money moves. The finance office is. And most buyers walk into that room with their guard down because they think the fight is already over. Marcus didn't see it. He negotiated a sharp price on the surface and gave a significant portion of it back in the room behind the sales floor. Kevin saw even less. He announced cash, eliminated his leverage before the conversation even started, and paid $2,400 more for the same car sitting in his neighbor's driveway. Now you have every layer, every number, every test the dealership runs on you before you even know the game has started, and you have the exact move to flip the dynamic in your favor. The machine was designed to run on most people. The only way to beat it is to understand it before you walk through the door. If this changed how you think about your next car purchase, pass it along to someone who's about to walk into a dealership without this information.